Guys, welcome back to our channel. Today this is another interesting episode or interesting lesson, which is conservation of plants and animals. I'm so excited to let's just go, let's just go, come on. So all living and non-living things that interact are defined as an ecosystem. What is an ecosystem? All living and non-living things that interact is called as an ecosystem. For example, a cell, a tissue, and an organ system, and an organism, and then humans, and then there can be birds, and anything can be that. A cell, a tissue, an organ, an organ system, and an organization. So it's like life cycle, not life cycle, like parts. From this you get this, 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 and you keep on going. So organisms in an ecosystem obtain their energy in different ways. Food chains, food webs represent the movement of energy through the ecosystem. For example, animals like eat plants, and we eat animals. I mean like non-veg people. Yeah. So we eat animals, and no, actually, yeah, it's animals eat plants, and yeah. So cow eat plants, and eagle will eat cow, and a snake can eat eagle, and a tiger can eat a snake. Yeah, it just keeps on going like that, right? So it's just how like the food chains in the food webs which are there in an ecosystem. So let's see what is an organism. It's nothing but an individual being that is just made up of bunch of organs, bunch of tissues and stuff. So what is population? Population is nothing but a group of organisms or group of people or group of same species make up a population. For example, girls can be a population. Humans can be a population, like that. And you'll be like your friend squad. You are the population. For example, a herd of Indian bison in an area would make an Indian bison population. A herd of you and your friends will make your friends population. Yeah, whatever. It's just like it's like population means that. Now several populations of different organisms together become a community. An Indian bison, a population living along with a population of animals like wild boars, tigers, deers, foxes, hornbill snakes, and plants like grasses, banyan tree, mango tree, teak trees, and they all are a community. It's like a community of people or community of place. Like it's like a total like flat where there is this banyan tree, there is this tiger, where there is this foxes, there is everything. So this is called as a community. Now what is an ecosystem? Ecosystem is a community which consists of different species along with the non-living and entities from the ecosystem. So the population of living things along with the rivers, the logs, the soil, the mountain, and the air, and a given area together for the tropical forest system. Each organism in an ecosystem plays a unique role and is responsible for maintaining the balance. So ecosystem is like the total things. So we saw that community is just what the living organisms, but ecosystem is every single thing, like the grass, the soil, the animals, the trees, the plants, and even the mountains. So everything is an ecosystem. So this is a quick check, you guys. So there is one of them here, and there are the same kind but in group. What is that? It is called as population, right? So, and this is there for you guys. You guys can tell the answer in the comments. Yep. So yeah, so how do the various organisms in an ecosystem obtain their energy? So all organisms need energy to survive. Even you, even me, and everything, single thing needs energy to survive. This energy is provided by the food that organisms eat, and some organisms in an ecosystem prepare their own food, while some of them just obtain it. They prepare their own food. Some of them make their food, some of them prepare their own food, and all organisms need energy to survive. In tropical forest ecosystem, organisms like the Indian bison, wild boars, tigers, deers, foxes, hornbill snakes, grasses, banyan tree, mango tree, and teak trees, and the given idea are together a community, right? We already saw what's a community, right? Yeah. So, and the continuous flow of energy and recycling of nutrients in an ecosystem helps different organisms to thrive and coexist. The continuous flow of the fact that we are recycling the nutrients in an ecosystem, it just helps the different organisms to thrive and just exist. Yeah, so let me tell you guys a fun fact. An insectivorous plants is both a producer and a consumer in a food chain. As producers, they photosynthesize and make their own food. As consumer, they feed on insects. Guess what plant this is, you guys? Come on, you can do this. Whoa, this is a big one. So energy in enters the forest ecosystem as sunlight. This sunlight is captured by plants including grasses and oak trees, and it is stored as food energy for the plants and other organisms, and some of them photosynthesize and make their own food, and that can make their own food using the sunlight, which are called as the producers. And members of the ecosystem like the bison, lions, hawks, snakes and bears and even termites cannot make their own food. These organisms are called as consumers. We also can't make our own food. Obviously we can make our own food, but with some resources like some plants or some animals, then only we can make our food, right? So yeah, and so consumers are pretty much herbivores, and the Indian bison is a herbivore, and herbivores are consumers which eat plants only. And yeah, here y'all can see that the Bengal tiger is a carnivore. Carnivore will kill animals and then feed on them. They're fresh flesh, they won't cooking it obviously. How can animals cook? The Bengal tiger is a carnivore, okay? And the wild boar is an omnivore, and they consume that feed on both plants and animals. They do both plants and animals. So we are omnivores. I mean, yeah, humans can be omnivores, but they can also be herbivores. They can also be, right? So what are scavengers? Consumers are also called as scavengers. Scavengers are nothing but there are termites, and vultures are scavengers. They consume and feed on the dead organisms. Like they're literally dead, and they're like all even like having bugs all over them, they would still eat them. So yeah, now the decomposers. What is the next decomposers? So fungi like mushroom and bacteria are decomposers. Decomposers are organisms that break down waste and dead organism, and they return the raw materials that they are made of the ecosystem. So they are from there on they'll come, and then after they die, they themselves will decompose them. It's like a cycle. In an ecosystem, herbivores and carnivores are consumers. We consume food, right? So they are consumers. Okay. Dash helps in the recycling of nutrients and returning back them to the environment. They die, they come. What did I tell you guys? It is the decomposers like the mushrooms and stuff. Yeah. So let's see like this food chain I told you guys, right? So a food chain is like just a sequence that keeps on happening. It just doesn't stop. If the food chain stops, I'll tell you guys about that. It describes the transfer of energy as one organism eat another's. Grass will be eaten by the rabbit will be eaten by the eagle, like that. Let me show you how fascinating this is. Like literally, see, lizard is what? See, from grass there is grasshopper. From grasshopper, the lizard will eat the grasshopper. The eagle will eat the lizard. And then eagle will eat the snake. And then the snake will eat the mouse. And then the snake, it just keeps on going and going. And the eagle will again eat the rabbit. It just keeps on going. They come, they die. They come, they die. It's just a food web. A food web is made of many overlapping food chains in an ecosystem. So why do food webs make more accurate representation of an ecosystem than food chains? First of organisms of food chain are mostly a producer. The second organism that feeds is a consumer, which is a primary consumer. And the primary consumer is eaten by the secondary consumer. So first you can see this is a producer, and this is the first consumer, which the rabbit eats the grass, and then the rabbit eats the grass, and then the eagle eats the rabbit. Like how? That's okay, yeah. So an ecosystem is a vast and complex, and there are many different ways in which the energies can flow within it. A food chain that describes who eats whom represents just one of the many possible ways which energy can travel through the ecosystem. Y'all can see here. This is the producer. This is the primary consumer. This will come from here, and this is also a primary consumer. The first consumer, and the secondary consumer is the third one. So y'all can see this will eat this, and then this will eat this, and this will be eaten by this, and it just goes like that, goes on, right? And then a food web. What is a food web? Let's see it in detail. It's nothing but when the combination of many food chains give us much more information about the flow in the ecosystem compared to the food chain. That is just how humans do not eat the same food every day. It's just the same with organisms. Most of the organisms consume and play different roles in food chain. They are a part of the food chain, and the roles are a lot clearer when we see it in like this way, right? And then it just becomes a habitat, like a cycle. It happens and happens. See, the roles are a lot clearer in the food web than in the food chain. For example, an eagle is a secondary consumer when it eats a mouse or a rabbit, but it becomes tertiary consumer when it eats a lizard or a snake. Like, wow, good. Okay, you guys, so now I want you to do this activity. Identify the trophic levels of the following organisms. So a grass is, what is a grass? A grass is a producer, right? A grasshopper is a primary consumer. A frog is also a primary consumer because an eagle and anything can eat a frog, and a frog can eat a lizard, right? So that makes sense. And then the snake is a secondary consumer. The snake can eat the frog, and it just works. So here I have an activity for you guys. You have to trace the different ways in which animals can travel the food in the web given below. You guys can do this and comment down below. Let's see, like, all in a nutshell, you just like a big summary of the lesson. So every organism takes up different roles in the ecosystem. Producers, which obtain making their own food. Consumers are the people who are feeding on each other. Consumers obtain energy by feeding on other organisms, and decomposers are which will be obtained by the energy by breaking down complex organic wastes, and then decompose and they come in, and decompose and they come again. So a food chain is nothing but it's a linear sequence of events that happen like a cycle. It just keeps on going and going. The transfer of the energy, which is like organism eats another one and eats another one, and we just saw about the food chain. And the food web is nothing but it's made of many overlapping food chains in an ecosystem. It's just many of the food chains in an ecosystem is called as the food web. Guys, well, in the next part of the session, I'll meet you soon with the part 2. So go ahead and watch the part 2 and complete this lesson ASAP. So thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like, share and subscribe for more. Bye. Watch the part 2 right now.